All right, well, that didn't seem to help at all. We're still on process priority high, but when I put the window in the foreground, my OBS stops updating, except very choppily now. This is even worse than it was the other day, though. Like, oh wait, now it's okay? It depends on where I put the OBS window. Okay, guys, this is so weird. Like, now it's updating, it's just a little bit choppy. But like, when I had it over here, now the frame rate is not updating at all. What is going... This is a buggy piece of crap program is what's happening. Did you guys see that? It like, the window's position on the screen is determining the performance. Maybe it's like if these buttons and meters down here are off the screen, then it's fast. Look at that. This is fine. This is totally fine, right? It looks fine to me. Okay. But then let's put the window over here. Oh God. Right? Was that totally stopped for everybody? like what? This is how bad, like, you know, people say when I rant about how bad software is, they say that I'm overblowing it, right, so to speak, that I'm exaggerating. But like, this is where we're at today. This is where we are at. You move the window and it works or it doesn't work. No, my second monitor is turned off right now. I only have one monitor. I can't see if I move my cursor to the right, it's stopping at the edge. And this is the thing, like people say, no, software was always just as bad as it is today. Like, no, dude, it's... This is just absurd, this problem right here. And this is just typical. Everything is like this now. Yeah. Okay, let's try to determine. So up here, it's slow. Down here, I bet it's slow. Yeah. So I can see the frame rate number freeze. So let's move it down a little more. Still freeze. Down a little more. Now it's not freeze. So it is. There's something about these buttons down here and like Windows window messaging or something. Let's try halfway. Freeze. A little more. Freeze. A little more. Freeze. A little more. Okay, fine. So this whatever sub window contains all these panels has to be off the screen in order to run OBS correctly. Can you look in the log? No way am I going to waste my time looking at the log. Are you kidding me? Try to see which button horizontally. Does it work if OBS is minimized? I don't know. Let's try it. So I'm going to minimize OBS. I will then not be able to see if it's okay, but you guys can tell me, all right? So ready, minimize. I'm moving around in the game. The game's frame rate is definitely dropping sometimes. It's good? Okay, well, that's great. Now we're going to try to program. A little choppy when I move. Yeah, so something about OBS is also, there's just some kind of serious bug in it now because it never used to have a problem capturing this size of screen. And yeah, so we might have to downgrade OBS at some point. I don't know, guys. Oh, Tinspin also just reproduced this. Okay. So it's not my fault at all. Yeah. We're going to have to download an older OBS next time. Somebody, for next stream, if I haven't done that yet, somebody remind me to downgrade OBS. Oh, apparently there's a new version. I just like downloaded this one last week or something. Yeah, but it's just a really complicated software, a really complicated program that does a lot, having problems, doesn't indicate anything about the industry's culture as a whole. Complicated compared to what? Like, if you think this program is really complicated, then what is simple? What is a simple program to you? What percentage of software qualifies as simple under that? 25.0.0. I should have known better than to download something that was .0.0, right? They don't seem to say anything about performance was crappy and we fixed it. Sure are lots of new features, though. Oh, wait. Okay, there's probably, I don't want to read all this. It's just going to be depressing. You're on 24.0.3? Wait, what? Oh, 25.01. Okay, I see. Yeah, well, we'll see. We're not going to upgrade it right now because we don't know if it will actually help. Okay. We're actually now 45 minutes into the stream or whatever, going to try to program. Let me close Steam. All right. So the actual thing that we are actually trying to do is we are well, this part here, this update orientation. I think I'm going to close my window again. I have this problem where something noisy is happening outside. A lot of noisy things are happening outside, but it's also cold in here, or too hot. So I don't know what to do. We'll try opening a window on the other side and see if that helps. Maybe that'll be too loud also. Okay. So, this stuff here, okay. This is, there's a couple things that need to happen. This part here is adjusting theta current, which is not actually the gameplay relevant variable that needs to go into the transaction. But theta target is. And we only want theta target to change when the transaction commits, but we want the interpolation to be happening before that. So really what we're saying is we want the transaction system to manage the visuals for this angle just like it does for linear motions. So maybe there's two steps. One is to move this visual part into the transaction system. And then the other will be to move the gameplay part the thing that changes theta target also into the transaction system. So the thing that changes theta target is this function called turn toward. If I know where that is, it's probably here. Yeah. So this, people call this, and it sets theta target, and that is bad. We don't want to do that. What we do want to do is have a transaction and set the theta target on the transaction, right? The problem with that, well, we need to make sure that anytime we call turn toward, it's associated with a transaction, right? Or maybe turn toward, which is another function. So usually that's fine. So like here we say add move and maybe turn toward. And so one thing we could do in preparation is just, for example, take the return value from add move and put the transaction as a parameter here, you know, etc. How many calls to turn toward do we have? I would guess probably about 12. Let's see. One, two, three, more than that. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I was very close. There actually were 12 to those two functions we talked about. It's just number 13 is on a function that I forgot exists, that only exists for the friendly dragon. Okay. Are transactions lock-based or opportunity? They're neither. It's a different thing. Okay. So I'm just going to go through and try to associate every single turn toward with a single move, where a single move is one of these components of a transaction, right? And as long as we can do that, then we're fine to have the transaction do that turn. If we can't do that, then I'm not sure what to think. So let's just start looking at those. And Friendly Dragon seems to have a lot of these. So, right. Okay, so here we don't have a move, but we should. So yeah. We're going to make a function that says actually, do we have, we might have this function already. I just want a function that makes I feel like I have one. So we have a stationary move type, and I feel like we've got a function that's like be still or something that we can just call for a given amount of time. Be stationary, that's what I was thinking. So if we have a transaction already and an entity, we can say be stationary. It adds a single move, I guess. Let's return that because we're going to want that. Okay, so we have be stationary. And we're going to want to call that here, but we're going to need a transaction. Now the thing is, when we say toggle friendly dragon, that's in response to a player input. So that player input should already be generating a transaction, but we're not passing that transaction to this function. So we're going to want that as well. Wow, it's already cold in here and noisy. So let's close that again. Okay. Good. We fixed our temperature problem very quickly. So we're going to want a transaction, right? And then here we're going to say single is B stationary, transaction dragon, and then some duration, right? I don't know. O.1. We'll change that later. So then we're going to pass that in here. Which is all good. Yeah. Okay. Now, toggle friendly dragon is it's probably from player control. All right. Who actually calls this function? Simulate toggle friendly dragon. Okay, so do we? Yes, we do. We make a transaction up here, and then we call this, but we're not passing the transaction, so we're just going to pass it. So now, turn toward, it needs to take a transaction. Right there, and then maybe turn toward also. So now everybody who calls these functions is going to be in error, except for these two that we just changed. Okay, and when this calls turn toward, you got to pass the transaction. So there was this function that I said I hadn't thought of. I guess we'll do that. Okay, so now we just have to fix a bunch of these. So turn toward. So this one has this single move, and that one has that single move. This one does not. Swap friendly dragon with. Okay, so here we're just doing this in the wrong order. So we're going to go single is add move. And then we're going to go turn toward single. That's all. Whoops, not add move. We want to look for turn toward. Okay, same thing here though, right? This is if the dragon's following the player. You know, we're adding a walk move to the same transaction as the player move, right? Because the dragon needs to follow one square behind the player. There's this one. Okay, turn toward here. Update baby dragon. Okay. So here we want a So here, this is the dragon doing things. Okay. So all three of these last turn towards are the dragon doing things autonomously in a way that is not tied to a player action. In the previous ones, they're supposed to be in sync with a player action, so they need to be in the same transaction. Here, we have like, well, the dragon's deciding to eat food out of his dog bowl or whatever, right? And so in those cases, we want to do kind of what we're doing down here, where we make a new transaction, we add a move, right? Etc. So this one's fine. We just add our single move here. So here we're just going to say single is be stationary transaction dragon O.1. These durations don't really matter, honestly, much. It's hard to imagine a case in which they really matter very much. But yeah. Anyway, so we want that. And then we want, like, these don't really have to be in transactions, but we want to do everything the same way for consistency. So they're going to be. And then we have one down here. Okay. So navigate baby dragon. Okay, yeah. So we only return true if we didn't do anything, which is great. Okay. So we've done all of the friendly dragon ones, which is a lot of them. These are just variables. These aren't calls to a turn toward function. Oh, turn toward enemy. That is not an actual transactional thing. So we're going to ignore that. That's a different thing. Okay, so it's just in this file now. So here we have a move, and we're just going to use it. Here, this one's going to be hard. This one's going to be hard. Okay. Here's the thing. We've got this old variable called any move that we set to true or whatever, but what we really want now is this single moves pointer that we get back from these functions. All right. So we're going to make that here, and we're going to set that. Now the problem is now that's kind of redundant with any move, and so we want to remove any move. Any move. Let's move this up to here. We're going to remove that. So instead of setting a Boolean that we have a move, we're going to just set this move pointer to the actual move. which fudge. There's a problem. The problem is as follows. So every transaction has an array of single moves. Those single moves are just stored in a regular old, good old boy compact array that reallocates its data when you add. All right. So the problem is, if I set a single move somewhere up in this big function, and then we do other stuff that adds other moves, the pointer will not really be valid anymore, but we want to use it later. So instead, we're going to do something kind of gross. We're going to do something kind of gross, where we say, okay, I'm going to explain this here in a comment. I'm going to say, we would like to have saved a pointer to a single move earlier in this procedure, rather than just having a bool any move and searching for the move here. Unfortunately, moves are stored in arrays by value, and if we take a pointer and then do other complicated stuff, as can happen, for example, during barred movement, comma, the pointer may become invalid. So we have to search for it here, which is dumb, but less dumb than allocating every single move on the heap or whatever. We could have a single purpose allocator of single moves. It's just that's more complicated too. Like this way, we just literally don't have to manage memory, but it has this drawback right here. It does. No, someone is saying endpoints and doubles should be endpoints are doubles. No, that's not true. Whatever you're talking about, endpoints and doubles is the right comment. Can you pre-compute what you'll need per frame? I don't understand. I don't understand how to make sense of that question. So a turn will not be a transaction, but rather associated to one? Yes, because of the way the puzzle rules work, you turn when you move most of the time, right? So the turn and the move are the same, or a turn and a teleport are the same, right? Or whatever. A turn and being charmed, well, that would also be a move, you know. Yeah, turns are attached to other things usually. You can turn in place, but in that case, we just have sort of a pause move and we attach the turn to that. Okay, so we have this function in move transaction. So we're actually going to search for it. No, the Unreal Engine lets you use whatever programming language you want, because you could just link DLLs. That's like their whole deal. Now, I mean, I don't know how often people actually do that, but they do. Okay, so now I'm paranoid. See, the problem is this is a little bit error prone of a thing. It's a little dangerous to be doing what I'm doing, because if you insert a lot more code at some point that adds more moves, that pointer could be invalidated. I'm not going to worry about it yet. We'll deal with it later. Okay, so incompatible structs. Oh. Weird. Okay. I put the wrong thing. I wanted this. Maybe I should pass both, honestly, in theory, but we're just going to do that. We might regret this. Okay, 3921. Okay, so this wants the move, or the transaction, right? This is no longer the right place to put this. You know what? We're just going to take this function out. And we might restore that functionality later. Because like the way it was authored assumed some stuff. And we can maybe program it a different way because our system will be different. So, so I believe that's the only call to this. So we're going to say this. All right. Okay. Undeclared identifier, single move. Oh, because it's moved. Okay. That's namespaced. All right. Well, now we've done all this and we have changed absolutely nothing. We're just passing a parameter around. Congratulations. There's a parameter, everybody. Congratulations. It's a parameter that does nothing. But sometimes programming is about getting yourself in the position that you can do more than nothing. Minimize OBS. It is minimized, I thought. How did it unminimize? Guys, let's just move it off the screen because Windows will deminimize things, right? Like, here we go. It's off the screen. Now is it okay? I mean, it is still interfering with my game a bunch, but it should be better. Okay, great. Anyway, the point being, we didn't actually make anything better yet. Well, I mean, we made something a little better. We didn't actually fix our problemo. All right, so well, the next thing is we need to have a way for this single move on the transaction to say, yeah, I'm turning, right? We don't have that yet. So here we could say turning, right? And then we say turning theta target, which is this, okay? And then we're going to set that on the single move in turn toward, instead of setting the player's theta target. And then we still won't have fixed anything. In fact, now we will have broken something, but we'll verify that we have broken it. You always want to, like, even if you're stepping backward in terms of apparent functionality, you want to make sure that the things that are happening are what you think are happening. Otherwise, otherwise you're introducing bugs or uncertainty. So here's what we're going to do. We're adding this, and they won't do anything yet. But here, where we say turn toward, okay, so first, instead of doing this up here, because see, we're doing this here, and then we're like changing it down here. We are, in fact, going to put this down here. And then these are going to be desired theta target, because we only want to write the value back at the end because we're about to change what even that is. So these are all going to be like our local variable. This is our weird hack that we're going to take out. So this is the thing, like if you've seen the previous streams where if stuff is on your head, it like teleport rotates. This is the part that does that. Okay. So first things first, though, we want this to work for guys without things on their head. Okay, so we've got this desired theta target. We get the delta. This is, we'll remove this eventually. Well, maybe not. Like we actually don't write this back to theta current. We do want to wrap it to make sure it's in the range that we care about. We don't want to write it back. So we're going to change that as well. Anyway, the point of this is that now we are only setting theta target down here, but instead of that, we're not going to set theta target. We're going to set these things that we just added. So we're going to say single, or if single, single dot turning is true, single dot turning theta target is that. So we're not writing it back to the entity at all. We're putting it in the transaction now, right? And we're going to assert single dot turning is false for now. It's quite possible that I'm calling this multiple times when I don't mean to. Okay, so now, as I move my guy around, he just shouldn't actually turn. So we just totally broke the game, right? Boom, 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 boom. See that? Great. You should always do this on an intermediate step. It's like, yes, I stepped the functionality of the game backward. I broke it in a sense, but I predicted how it was going to break because that's part of my plan. And then I verified that it broke in exactly the way that I expected that I broke it. See what I'm saying? Yeah, we have some serious strafe action. Let's strafe push things sideways. All right. Okay, great. Exactly as we predicted. So now we're going to go here into this part. Remember that we started at the beginning. This part that changes the visuals. All this was debugging stuff from our animation thing that we did. So this now has to go somewhere else. So we're going to leave this function here called update orientation. Oh, you know, when rocks skip, that is also a case when, oh no, this is a different thing. This is just visual. Okay, anyway, folks, this stuff is what handles visual interpolation of things, right? This is the whole thing that we did. Like if a thing has an animation player that controls turning, then we get turning from the animation, right? Otherwise we don't. Now, it's a little bit sketch. We're about to move this to a different place in the code, and the question is now introduced. Are we updating the animation player before or after because if we update these in the wrong order, like if we update the transactions before the animation, which I think we do, then you've introduced a frame of lag in certain things, and that starts to make your game feel bad. So we don't want to introduce a frame of lag, but we're going to maybe potentially do that right now just to get it working again, right? Don't make it too hard on yourself. Do the things that you got to do. So this is going to go, we've got a different file for this kind of thing. It's called movement visuals. This is the thing that does the visual interpolation of the linear position already, right? So we are going to add a function here down at the bottom called, I don't know, update theta current and actually, this d theta, I just realized, is only needed down here. So we'll change that too. Using E is an entity. We might need more variables, but OK. So we're going to put this d theta down here. Does anyone else use that wrap theta current? Probably not. All right. Does anyone use wrap starting angle? Who uses that? Oh, move transaction. Great. We'll move that. Great. See how great it is when you can just move stuff between files without having to edit headers and stuff? Okay, so now we have this update theta current, and it's doing these things. But we're not calling it yet. And if you don't call a function, it doesn't happen. Also, you spill tea on yourself if you don't call a function by picking your teacup up too fast. Is animation and movement always that complicated? Well, I mean, it always starts simple, and then it always gets complicated depending on what you're doing. In this game, it's complicated, yes, because of the grid stuff. Most games, the movement code does not look like this. However, in games like The Witness, the movement code was quite complicated for other reasons. In Braid, the movement code was quite complicated for other reasons. So, yeah, movement in games gets hairy pretty much all the time, honestly. Unless it's a crappy game. Okay, how are people doing in chat? Is everyone following along to some degree? I realize this isn't an in-depth explainy stream like we did with Casey the other day, but is this making sense for people? What about The Witness made that movement code complicated? Because we wanted an autosave system where you never manually save, and you never die in the game, which means it's very important that you never, ever, ever, ever get stuck like you do in some games. Like in a lot of games, if you get stuck inside a wall, it's like, well, let me just reload the save game or like die or whatever. But in The Witness, we didn't have that. So Casey wrote a movement system that was very serious about being completely reversible, or like a low-level movement geometry system that was very serious about that. Why degrees, not radians? Because then you can set an exact value that means a 90-degree rotation, right? If it's radians, you don't have a floating point value that exactly represents a right angle. And degrees are actually smart. Like, people think degrees are weird, but there's a lot of reasons why degrees are a good measurement. Do you also use a transaction system for editor, undo, redo? Sort of, not really. I mean, we group things together, but it's not a transaction in the same way. Yeah, you can follow that link that is there where Casey did a blog post about this. So we now have this thing. Nobody calls it. Let's make sure we still compile. We do. No, we don't. DT. We got to pass that. DT. All right, now we compile, but nothing's going to happen because we don't call this ever. So now, in, for example, do guy controller, we could call it. Okay. That's not going to call it for everybody, but so we do have a single move. So we're going to say if single.turning, right? Update theta current e dt. Oh, and we need the target angle. We need single.theta target there, right? Let's not actually do a using here because theta target is also the name on the entity. So we want the target angle and the dt, and we're just going to put this. Okay. So now players can turn, but other things cannot. Okay, undeclared identifier E. I put the wrong variable. What's he called? Is it called guy? Is it called entity? What? It's called guy. All right. Guy. Theta target. What did I call it? Turning theta target. Okay, great. Okay, so that should compile. Okay, we're going to run this. So now the thing is, he should rotate toward whatever transaction he's in visually. The problem, though, is he never actually faces that direction for gameplay now because we never actually set the entity's theta target when the transaction commits. That'll be the next step. But he should turn visually, hopefully, if I didn't mess this up. Maybe I did. It's quite possible. Whoa. Whoa. Okay. He's being weird. Okay. So part of this is a weird thing because, like, it's snapping him to face down at the beginning of every animation because that's his actual theta target. Because, like I said, we never change that. We probably could take out that snapping, but, you know, let's see. Can we see where that is really easily? Theta current equals, we had this thing in here, theta at start. That's only for rocks. Okay, here we go. No. So I'm not sure why that's snapping, but I'm not surprised. Let's just fix the actual theta target on commit. Commit transaction. There we go. Okay, what is this? Kill controller proc moves. We remove them out. We say physically moved. Oh, but we're reverting them. Okay. I don't know why we're saying physically move there, but it's okay. So here's where we go when we're actually going to commit. All right. So do physical moves is what gets called. So we go over every single move and we do the things. All right. So update physical position moves the grid position. So now we're going to say if single dot turning e dot theta target equals single dot turning theta target. That's it. That's the thing that keeps the turning. This is all that we've been trying to do this whole time is this. We're saying for everything in the transaction, the turning has to happen at the same time as the positional move. That's all we've been trying to do. So hopefully that makes sense to people. It used to be very far away in the code, and now it's in the same place and happens at the same time. So, well, he's still messed up. That's no surprise. Okay, so there's a couple things happening. One is like, sometimes he's just automatically snapping toward the target or to a different orientation. We need to find who is doing that, honestly. See that? That's like when I start a move, he just pops to another angle. That should not happen. I don't know why I'm losing my voice here. It's coronavirus. So what's the deal there? And then until we fix that, we can't really fix, like there might be other problems that are hard to see because of that. But clearly he should not discontinuously move, right? However, okay. However, let's make a way to test what his facing direction is. So far, we don't have a way to know because, like, even if his gameplay direction is wrong, he would still push this rock left by moving left. We don't actually know that this guy is facing left at the end of this move. So we're going to add something that lets us know to the level. And that is this magic item right here. Because when I shoot this little ray beam thing, it's not really a ray beam, but it goes into the neighboring square. It goes into the neighboring square, and there we go. See, well, it also activates the mirror, but see, it's supposed to point in front of him. That's where that dust cloud is. Oh, I have a great idea for a level. Okay. So that part, the part that happens on transaction commit is actually working. Because the dust cloud, okay, well, there's a weird thing about it that we're going to have to revisit. So the dust cloud is going in the right place all the time, the blue cloud. The thing is, for some reason, we let you zap while you're moving right now. And if I do that, like if I'm here and I zap, it goes there. If I start moving and then zap, it still goes there. And the reason why, okay, this is a gameplay bug that I didn't know about. The reason why is because there's a mirror, and if there's a mirror, you're allowed to do an asynchronous magic item operation. If I take away the mirror, watch this. I won't be able to do that anymore. Like, okay, I'm zapping. I'm going to move and zap. See? There he didn't zap till the end. So this is a bug that we're not going to do right now. But like when I wrote the code that says, oh, you're allowed to do an asynchronous timed mirror manipulation, I forgot to include the zapper. The zapper just teleports things one square. If the square in front of you is full, that's all it does. So I could like zap this into the water. That gives me another level idea. I mean, this game is going to have so many levels. So many levels. Okay. So, okay, let me put on the to-do list. On a level with mirrors, you can zap mid-move. This is not good. Okay, I need to get a drink for my voice here. This is not good. We got the aloe drink, which is good. Good for things. I don't know why my voice is having trouble today. Maybe Half-Life Alyx killed it. I don't know. Could it be some allergy? Did I eat something? I don't know. Don't know. Not putting enough honey in my tea, that could be. I definitely haven't been doing that. And in fact, I have an entire new honey bear that is unopened. I think. No, I did use it once. I should buy real honey. This claims to be real honey. From an actual farm in Northern California. Just because it's inside a bear doesn't mean it's not real honey. Bears don't produce honey? What? What are you talking about? That's a lie. Okay. So we have this. We have our guy turning, and we have this problem that he is snapping when he starts a move. My first suspicion is that I messed something up in turn toward right here. Yes. Oh, remember? So this well, oh, wait. Does get full support stack include? No, it probably doesn't. Okay, so turn toward definitely writes back to theta current. This shouldn't really change anything, but we shouldn't do this here anyway, right? So let's fix this. There. So we're just wrapping this into a local thing. I don't know why we're wrapping this here, but whatever. So I don't think that that will have fixed the problem. Oh yeah, because we're using this entity. Let's just call it theta. Okay. There's already a theta. It's a different theta. It's this one right here. You know what? If we're only using this once, then like, come on, bro. All right, that's, I don't think is going to fix anything, but we at least got rid of one of our no check-ins. So yeah. Now we're still doing the sick teleports. So really what I could do is a data breakpoint, except my frickin' Visual Studio serial number is still not fixed. All right, guys, here's what I'm going to do. Because, you know, I could just stay here, right? and set a data breakpoint on his theta current, and then just see who snaps it. Except there shouldn't be that many things that set theta current. So we could just look for a second. Movement visuals, that's the one we just did. This probably shouldn't happen. Well, Okay, that's the movement stack stuff that we're going to do later. Okay, hold on. 1492. Okay, this is after undo, right? This is post undo reevaluate, so that's fine. What was this post teleport? What's this one? Move transaction 191. Okay. That's for teleport as well. Why do we have two? Okay, well, that's redundant with the thing that we did down there, so that's fine. This file doesn't exist. It's just really old code that I keep around for reference. Editor commands, no. General 3D, that's also editor. So really, nobody really sets this in a weird way. So, well, we're going to do the data breakpoint. Like, I don't see an obvious problem. There's going to be something obvious and stupid. I just don't see what it is. So I am going to turn off the monitor for a second. Well, okay, hold on. Let's do Visual Studio. Let's pin that to our taskbar because it's such a great program. And I have to get my license key out of my email somewhere. So let me turn off the desktop for a second. While I'm doing this, are there any questions about what we've been doing? God, I have so much email. Stop sending me email. Please. Oh my God, there's so much email. I'm just going to delete. I just deleted 9. 10, 11, 12 emails unread. And now I have 6 emails that I actually have to reply to today. That's pretty good. If you can delete 2/3 of your emails, you're fine. What if you have a secret theta cur equals with 2 spaces? Well, yeah, that would do it too. Okay, I'm looking for Visual Studio Serial. I know I have this because I've dug it out of my email like 4 times. Question is, can I find it? This is driving me nuts. I can't find it. I found it. I found it. As time keeps going on, it's going to get harder and harder to find my product key in my email. But hopefully remedy debug will be done by then. All right, good. Turn the display back on now that the top secret information is off the screen. Okay. Going to build a debug executable. We are going to run the game. No, not attach. Oh. Run the game. And so to use a data breakpoint, we have to get the pointer to the thing first. So I'm going to look for a call to, you know, like add move or something, right? So we're going to go to Sokoban, source, move transaction. We're going to go add move. And yeah, so we're just going to jam a breakpoint in there. When I walk left, here we go. So now we have the entity, and I can go and undoable data dot theta current. Yeah, there we go. So we have that pointer. However, we don't want to set the data breakpoint yet because this is about to get changed a lot, right? So we're just going to undo this breakpoint, but we have that address, right? Copy value. I'm just going to copy that address down here so that it doesn't get hosed. That should stay constant because we don't move our entities in memory unless I like undo or something. Oh God. All right. Stop. Okay, so let's now find a repro case. So if I'm facing left and I go south, it does it. Let's try that again. I'm facing left and I go right south, it does it. Okay, so great. That should be easy repro. So we're facing left and all I have to do is go south. But first now we have to like get a breakpoint somewhere reasonable. Let's go to main and go to like loop. Here's the main loop. Bam. Okay. So we're going to cast this to a float to make sure it still is the right memory. Yeah, 179.99985. I'm a little disappointed that this is not exactly 180. That is a bug, but okay, fine. Let's put that into the to-do. Player thetas are not exactly 90, 180, etc. When they have stopped moving. Why not? I don't know. Okay. So we're going to set a data breakpoint on that. New data breakpoint OX229217 COAA8. It's stupid that I have to type this, but whatever. 229217 COAA8. Great. Okay. So now we're going to continue. And now we're going to go south. Bam. Okay. This is in our update theta current. And okay, so far it's a small angle change. It went from 179 to 185. So I don't think this is our problem. I think our problem happens after this. Let's see. 190. No. Like, I am not seeing the problem here. So, like, why? Why? See, the animation controlled part of it is maybe confusing as well. So here's the weird thing that I just saw. Only the first 2 moves are messed up or something. Like if I go 1, okay, so that turned me south. So 1 was messed up. Oh, then it's not messed up. Maybe it has to do with how soon I move. No? Like, dude, I don't know what's going on. This could be in the animation system. Again, like that time that I was talking to Casey and it turned out the problem was in the animation system. It could be there. Maybe. I kind of don't know. Oh. Yes. Okay. Unforeseen consequence. This is why I'm a big fan of, like I said, in the middle of the procedure, predict what should be happening even though you're not done, and run it and make sure that's happening. Here's the problem. The animation file that we looked at in that other stream has a bunch of rules about what animation to play based on where the character is facing relative to where the character is trying to face. Now, how does it choose which of those files or which of those animations to play? Well, it looks at some variables like the entity's theta current and the entity's theta target. Now, we are no longer setting the entity's theta target to the correct direction when the player starts moving. That is not a thing that we are doing anymore. So that is wrong. I mean, it's right that we're not setting it, but the way that the animation system is getting the value is wrong. So we need to change that. However, excuse me. However, I don't see how that would cause teleportation looking things to happen. I think that only would cause just the wrong animation to play. It shouldn't cause teleportation. OBS is lagging again. Oh man, because I moved it. Sorry, we have to put it off the screen, everybody. Better? All right. Okay. It is pure insanity. That is correct. That is exactly what it is. It is the year 2020. We are living in the future. You see that the stream's bitrate is 6K or 6,000 kbps. Oh, I mean, maybe that's something. Maybe that's causing it to freak out. Where is that? Stream. That doesn't seem right. It should be 6, right? What is a reasonable bit rate? Oh, you think that's too much for Twitch? No, I mean, I've streamed at this bit rate before. Okay, 6 is very normal. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, that's... Oh, wait, we gotta remember to move it off the screen again. Can't just iconify. Okay. So, what I'm tempted to do right now... So we could have a case where because I was in the debugger, the frame rate was different or whatever, or some initial condition was different and caused the problem not to occur. So let's actually draw the theta and theta target here on this little debug dropdown. If I remember where that is, I think it's here. Yeah. So for every transaction, we go through all the single moves and we draw a little box that has wait, that's not what we're looking at right now. I don't know what we're looking at. Oh, this is the transaction report, which is a different thing. Maybe this, oh, this is in... I moved all this stuff around a while ago, and like I totally don't remember. Moves HUD. This is what happens when you work on like 5 projects. Moves HUD. Here we go. Yeah, so we put the location, the start position. We're going to add some more things. We're going to say we're going to put the thetas. We're going to put cast int e.theta current cast int e.theta target. So that is going to tell us what angle the dude's facing right now. Right? So yeah. So there we go. They look like reasonable values. So right there we had a teleport. We did it again. Okay, so if we just reverse like this. So I'm turning around. Bam! It did just jump. to almost 270. Like, what's the deal? Why did it jump to almost 270? And then I turn around and it's like 90 instantly. Okay. Maybe when we set that breakpoint, it was correct. But we're calling that function a lot of times per frame for some reason. But we shouldn't be doing that. I'm glad you enjoyed The Witness. We worked very hard on that game. We worked very hard on that game. Okay, so what is causing this big jump? I mean, I can try doing the data breakpoint one more time and just see if I observe something different. Like, I think we could do that. So let's go back to our here. Oh, we're not running in the debugger. Time to get another honey drop. Another honey drop. Do I think Half-Life copied The Witness? No. You mean Half-Life Alex? What in there do you think is a copy of The Witness? I haven't seen anything that is. I mean, I played like this first 7 hours. I'm just going to delete this mirror because it's bugging me, man. We don't need either of these objects. Get them out of there. Back to the lobby. Back to the lobby. All right, set our breakpoint. This is our new value. See that? It changed like instantly. Oh, but that was between calls to add move. Never mind. Never mind. That could have been quite a while. Okay. It's fine. So we're going to go here. It seems to do it a different amount every time. All right. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to slow down time We're going to buffer up a move. We're going to add a breakpoint here at add move. Okay, so it's 90. And then we're going to add the data breakpoint. So it's 90 now. We want it to smoothly go from 90 to 270. Either way around, it doesn't matter. DC4 33 C70. Okay, so here we are in update theta current again. It's 96. Oh, yeah, it is multiple steps. 300. Oh, God, you guys. Ha, ha. Okay. Ha, 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 ha. I forgot. So, way back when we were doing animation control stuff, a couple months ago probably, I did this thing where I was like, well, you know, we need to know how long to make the transaction, but we don't know with these acceleration and deceleration controllers how long it takes the guy to move. So we made this thing where we call doGuy controller hypothetically, and doGuy controller does the things. And I forgot that I call it hypothetically. And so when we call the angle control, we write back the angle into the guy as opposed to just returning the hypothetical new angle. Because I'm a bad programmer. So the solution is that I'm fired. Also, I guess I have coronavirus because I'm coughing a lot. Okay. So the way that we fix this is as follows. We assign that to the return value. We return an angle from this. And update theta current needs to return a float. Gonna return it down here. Oh my God, this is so bad. Okay, this is not the solution. And the problem is, remember, if you watch this stream with me and Casey, we get the angle out of the animation player and then zero that out. Okay, which means that if we call this hypothetically, we are going to kill the value out of the animation player, which is when some nerd burger from college says, but that's a side effect, and side effects are bad, and if you just did functional programming, you could do this without that. And it's like, oh my God, at some point, you're running a ton of extra computation to avoid the side effects, like you're running all this animation code multiple times and whatever. It's not the right way to do it. Okay, new plan. We get rid of this thing that I just typed. You're not allowed to breathe because the wind it produces is a side effect. That is correct. You are not allowed to breathe. Okay. Instead, we're going to pass a value that says, is this hypothetical? Hypothetical. It's not even optional. Everybody who calls this has to set it. It probably only gets called from two places. If we're not hypothetical, we don't need to do turning if we're just trying to gauge the length of the transaction, because that just depends on the physical position controllers. Hypothetical mode. All right, so everyone who calls do guy controller. Really? Maybe it's only in this file. So this is hypothetical. This is not hypothetical. Maybe those are the only calls. Let's see. I'm worried about, oh no, OBS is off screen. Great. He also found from experience that functional programming is great and does in fact make code easier to maintain, but only if you fully understand the problem and the solution and you're not experimenting and making massive restructuring of the code. I would still even say there are many caveats besides that. Okay, great. So now he's turning the wrong way sometimes, but we knew that because we knew that the animation selection is not right. But he's no longer teleport turning, see? Because we fired me from the programming team. And once we did that, it's all good. Okay, so now we have to fix the animation selection, which is going to be interesting. There's so many different problems in this game that end up in the guy doing sick 180s. So functional programming, like functional techniques are useful in some contexts, right? And it's just, you know, recognize what those contexts are and don't try to use it outside of those and you're good, right? Functional programming is very, very bad if you are making massive changes to the code frequently because so much type safety means that even a small refactor leads to combinatorial explosions and refactors. Well, that's a little bit different, right? So type safety is different from functional programming, strictly speaking. It's just that, you know, a lot of these languages that do a lot of this type algebra stuff are the functional languages. So there's a strong association between them, but the functional programming part is just like, look, you don't have side effects. You know what I'm saying? Side effect free programming, which is a myth. Sort of. It's not a myth in small bite-sized pieces. It is in fact useful in small bite-sized pieces. Sometimes. .360 is an Easter egg. We'll add like a skateboarding kid character. What do I think about Prolog? It's a terrible idea. If you had to take an entire class on Prolog, I feel bad for you. You know, we learned Prolog in college, but it was like a couple weeks of one class. Your bachelor thesis was in Prolog? I feel bad for you. Functional programming makes heavy use of monads. No, that's bullshit. Dude, you are using a revisionist definition of functional programming. And specialized language structures such as for comprehensions or do that require decorating. No, that's all revisionist. The concept of functional programming has been around since the 1950s. Way before anybody did any of this monad stuff, okay? This is, again, it's a different concept, okay? Functional programming means that your code is a function, right? Which means that its entire purpose is to return values, that it does not perform actions besides returning values. All this other stuff you're talking about, like monads and whatever, is like a different thing that got added later. You need to understand that, or you don't have a clear view of what's happening. Do I agree with any of Alan Kay's original ideas on OOP? I don't agree that they're a good way to program. So I disagree with him about that. I don't think... Like he keeps, you know, so Alan Kay's stance seems to be, nobody ever understood my idea of object-oriented. And so that's why software sucks today. And it's like, well, I mean, I understand his idea and I just don't think it's very good. I think it leads to very confusing, error-prone software, and that's why we don't do it. You don't want extreme late binding of anything. Right? Like my programming language here that I'm working on is exactly the opposite of Alan Kay's idea. So, and I'm doing that because I think the right way to program is the exact opposite of Alan Kay's idea for, you know, for most kinds of programs, like operating system kinds of programs. That doesn't mean it wasn't a good thing to be thinking in that direction back when he was doing that. Like, I think that was good. We should think and explore all kinds of directions about how to make software. I just don't think that that particular conception is all that useful in practice. Anyway, so now we have to fix the animation messaging, but to do that, I want like a good repro. I want a good SICK 180 repro. Okay, that was weird how he turned to the side. Okay, it's like, if I go north again, like, okay. So if I'm south and I go north 1, and then I go north again, he does like a SICK 90, right? North, north. And that's weird. Like, I don't know why that's reproing the thing. So he's active to walking. walking to active right. See, those look like the correct animations to me. Like this. See, he's not playing any turn animations. He's playing straight line. Oh, wait, no, sorry. I'm looking at the state, not the animation names. Hold on. I want to look at the animation names. Move forward 01. That's what he should have been playing. And then move forward 01 again. So the problem is not there. It's like here again. So let's see. So he's going to go north 1. Yeah, see, it's moving the theta. Like what? So it's minus 270 right now. That's kind of bad. Okay, so it's a wrapping thing. It's like, it's because it's minus 270. That's like out of range. We want things to be minus 180 to 180. So minus 270 is not a good deal. So, you know, we're going from minus 90 to minus 270 to 90, where minus 270 and 90 are the same thing, but it's starting to interpolate the wrong way. So we need to fix that. So, what is this wrap starting angle thing again? Let's look at that. Oh, nobody uses that? Or does somebody? Wait, hold on. Is it here? Yeah, it's here. Oh, that's this other. Okay, we're just going to leave it for now. I want like a wrap angle function, and I feel like such a thing may exist. Nope. All right. Here we're going to be slightly more functional. We're going to say sometimes you can move a little bit more functional and it's fine. So we're going to turn this into a function called wrap angle that doesn't side effect anything or assume what it's operating on. That's the real reason we're doing it. Because right now it's hard-coded for theta current, but we're just going to do that. So we're going to wrap angle. Okay. Great. So the problem is that the theta target actually is getting weird values. But okay, so here we go. Where's our wrap angle? We're going to do this. Let's say wrap angle is just theta as a float to a float. And this is just easy. Minus equals 360. There we go. So right, if we're great, this is a very common thing to do in games, right? If we're greater than 180, then we're outside of the range. So you subtract 360. So you go back to like minus 179 or closer to 0, right? If you're less than minus 180, right, then we add 360, so you're at plus 179 or closer to 0. So, you know, yeah. Yeah. So we call that, and hopefully other people don't need it. Not all control paths return a value because I'm stupid. All right, great. Now, we want to fix the theta target that gets placed on the transaction, right? So remember we had this thing that we did, turning theta target. Who sets that? We just did this today, but I already don't remember. Okay. We're just going to say wrap. Well, just going to do that. Oh, that's delta theta. My variables are 2. Yeah. So we're getting an atan 2, which I guess the range of atan 2 is not minus 180 to 180. I thought it was. I thought it was guaranteed to be, but I guess not. All right. Oh, we got a sick 360. That was different. See, now we have different problems. That could be animation control. I don't know. Let's look at our thetas again. 90, 90, that's correct. Minus, whoa! Why are we getting 270s again? This isn't good. So it's, and why are we interpolating? What? Okay, I broke something super bad. Like, dude, we're not even going the right directions. Okay. Okay, bro. Oh, because we mess around with it up here. So we're doing a double mess with here. Oh, and we already have this wrap degrees. But what does that do? Is that a different wrap? Hold on. Hold on. Wrap degrees. It's the same thing. It's the same thing as my wrap angle. See? See? It's even named better. Because it says that it's in degrees. Okay, so we have weird things happening here. Yeah, this is weird. Let's. So this is, you need a double situation here. Okay, here's the problem. Here's the problem. None of this is right. Okay. We actually, it's not true. You can't actually simply constrain to minus 180 or plus 180 for everything. You need to, that's the problem. Okay, the problem is isn't that we're not wrapping enough, it's that we're wrapping too much. Like, you can end up in cases like, say one angle is minus 180 and another one is like plus 90, but you need it to interpolate toward minus 180. You don't want to go the wrong direction and stuff. So I kind of broke that. Wouldn't theta mod 180 do the job? No, mod's an integer operation. The equal is missing in my wrapping code. What? What you talking about, Willis? That's the wrapping code. In the compare. The compare? Oh, you're saying I shouldn't allow exactly 180? That is very small. Like I don't honestly care about that. Yeah, like technically minus 180 and plus 180 are okay. Okay. We're going to go minus 179.9999999 to 180. I see what you're saying. Okay, so no, the problem is that you can't just do this to all your angles and have it come out right, because you'll end up interpolating the wrong way around sometimes. So what we really want to do is like this kind of a thing. We don't actually want to do this here at all. We can do it to theta current every time that we're going to do the wrap. So okay. Here's what we're going to do here. We're going to do wrap degrees here. Okay. So this is in minus to plus 180, which I think it probably already is. Like, I'm not sure that we need that at all, but whatever. Okay, and then down here, we're not going to do that there. We are going to where are we? In movement visuals. Down here, okay. Theta target. And we're going to actually modify theta current, which is, you know, we don't want to change the target angle. Let's actually do this. Right. So we're just modifying a local variable. And we don't, okay, this is what was causing a problem here. We don't want to do this wrap, because this wrap ruins any orientation that you already got up here. That is the problem. Okay, not wrap angle. It's not wrap angle, it's wrap degrees. All right. Alrighty. See, SIG 360. Oh, we messed it up still. Okay, so now, whoa, okay, we get really big thetas, but our theta target, which is the number on the right, notice that that's always reasonable now. Our theta target is not ever 270, right? It's between minus and plus 180, always. Okay. So theta target is totally good. Theta current is getting crazy sometimes. Like it went to 3,000 or whatever. Whoa. Okay. Why is that? Let's just put wrap degrees is everywhere. So as long as we do the wrap degrees before this, this is the thing that gets destroyed by wrap degrees. So we do wrap degrees, and then we do this. This is probably in the wrong direction, actually. Okay, so this used to be setting theta target, so I think my plus and minus are wrong here is what's going on. Okay, so this is target minus current. If that's greater than 180, then I want current to get bigger to catch up to target. Yeah. So I changed which one I was modifying. Without changing the signs there. Hey, look, he's not doing 3,000 degrees turns. Everybody. How great is that? He's probably still playing the wrong animations. You notice he's never like playing the turn my head over my shoulder animations. That's because we broke that, but that's separate. This is all working now. Yay. 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 Now, because we're not playing the turning animations, we never have animation controlled turning. So if that's going to break something, then I don't know. Maybe search for less than -180. Yeah, we'll do. Remind me to do that at a different time. I don't think it's important right now to do. Okay. We still have several other things that have to get fixed, and I kind of want a stream break, but let me start writing down the things that have to get fixed. So they are turn while blocked doesn't work. So for example, if my guy comes down here and I try to go north, he's blocked, but he should turn north, but he's not doing it. And the reason is because we're not calling this guy controller thing in that case. So we need to do something in that case to call that angle function. Also, the thing that makes inanimate objects turn and stuff isn't happening. This rock may turn, but that's because that's still happening outside the transaction system. But if you ever turn other stuff, it doesn't work. So that stuff needs to rotate, and animation system target angle. Okay, we could probably fix that pretty quickly. Did this have anything to do with, for example, you're at -175 and you want to interpolate to +30. You want to interpolate in the plus direction, but naively the math dictates the other way. Yes, that's exactly what was happening. Exactly what was happening. So the thing going on here is, here, see, we have all these variables that the animation system wants to look at, and we just look at e dot theta target. And remember, we stopped modifying e dot theta target immediately. Now, fortunately, there's only two cases of this. So we can just say is get theta target of E, right? And we're going to do this. And okay, this is going to be down here. That could be local. Put it here. This is an entity. Turns a float. So we're going to say are we in a move transaction? Ignore support. If we didn't find one, don't ignore support, okay? If there's still no transaction, return the theta target, because that's just what it should be. Otherwise, if, well, we'll do it this other way around. We'll say if single and single dot turning So we're trying to find any transaction that's turning us. If we have one, return single dot turning theta target. Otherwise, return the entity's theta target. Not many, but a number of. And so, we're doing transaction searches here, which is not that slow, but not blazing. It is not blazing. Okay, now he's turning his head. Check it out. Check it out. It's almost like we put in work to have animations. Okay, this is great because now we have transactions that control the turning and the guy is in them. However, let's now make something where an inanimate object would rotate, and I will illustrate that it very likely doesn't actually work. So here's a beam, and we're going to torque it so that we rotate the beam like this. All right. So the way this works is I can go here and I zap it. And that has rotated the beam, I guess, except it really hasn't. Okay. And then when I undo, you see where it's pointing. So I'm going to rotate it right. I don't know why the beam disappeared. That's pretty weird. Oh, it's probably getting BSP chopped because we used the theta of the object. I don't know. Something interesting is happening there. But anyway, if I undo, you'll see that it's facing to the right. Yeah. So that's got to get fixed. What happened to the water flow particles? That's a good question. I think, let's try restarting. I think there's just minor bugs in it where it doesn't totally work all the time. Yeah, see that this time they're up. There's a weird bug. It's fine. They need a lot more work than they currently have. Oh, maybe they don't come back after undo? No, that's not it. I don't know if they disappeared somewhere or if it was just that whole run they weren't there. There's just some small bugs that make it not work. Yeah, I mean, certainly, look, we're going to make the water tremendously better before we ship the game. And that'll just get fixed when that happens. You can't fix every problem at once, right? That's the thing you learn about video games. You have to focus. So like, yes, we need to fix that bug. I'm not going to worry about it right now because I've just got other fish to fry. But sometimes people say that kind of a thing and then they don't actually fry the fish later. And then that's bad. So you have to actually fry the fish. You know what I'm saying? Is this still compiling running in the mode where you copy directly to memory as opposed to registers? Yes, when I build an x64 backend build, which is like what I'm running right now, yes. And as you can see, it's totally fast enough for just like debug build purposes. I mean, it depends on what your program's trying to do, of course, but yeah. Could just have sushi. That's true. You could just have sushi. Okay. Okay. Now what? Well, we fixed the animation target angle thing. Inanimate rotation probably should get fixed. So this function down here, this update theta current that we did, we want to call that at other times. In move transaction. And actually, I mean, let's not even do it in controller proc. Like, let's just move it out to here. We'll say update theta current E dt, right? I mean, we have all that here, don't we? We have dt, we have single. So we're just going to update the visual angle way out here for all transactions. That's still not going to solve all our problems because there are times like when transactions might end and we're not done turning for whatever reason. But that. So we're gonna move this to here, which means we're going to take it out of where it was. Oh, I guess we'll do this if single.turning. We'll no check-in to remind us to delete this. So maybe we don't even need that hypothetical. Right? That parameter that we added. I don't know. It's called turning theta target, bro. We did the same mistake before. All right. Right. Righty-o. Righty-o. Okay, so my guy, he's still turning. He's still playing all his cool animations. All right. And then we're going to pick up the rotator cuff. And we're going to... Oh, it didn't work. It might be because we do not make a transaction for this thing. Let's see. Let's put up the transaction HUD. Right? Yeah. We don't actually make that a transaction, and it should be, because that's the whole point, right? Is you shouldn't, you know, the using the magic should be bound in the same action with the other thing. So yeah. So let's fix that. That is here. Here we're just poking theta target. I should actually search the code. I'm going to write that down. Search for theta target equals. Right? So here we're going to say, well, how long does it take? Again, we're going to say no check-in, hard-coded duration. We're going to, what was it called? Stationary. We're going to say be stationary. Transaction, light, duration equals 0.1. Because we want to put like an editable duration control in the gameplay file or whatever. We're going to say this And then we're going to say turn toward, right? What were the parameters there? Turn toward single light and, oh. Let's just have a theta. I don't like making layer upon layer of things, but we're going to do it. Turn toward this, comma, that, because we're saying go in the same direction as the guy. The guy is already in an angle. I don't want to like do math to get a vector just to pass it to here to do math to get an angle. That's stupid, right? So guy.theta target. There we go. Maybe check in. Okay. So here we're just going to call, we're going to say theta equals, let's say here, and then we're going to say turn towards single E desired theta target, right? We don't even need to using the, okay, here. That's going to be there. We don't need to using this guy because we're not doing anything. And then all of, whoops, all of this goes up here. All right. So now we get the thing. We go here and we go zap. Okay, it turned. The beam is not on for some reason. But the object actually smooth turned. The thing is, I can't zap it again, weirdly. Okay. The beam is for some reason still going left. Why? 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 The beams, the beams, the beams. It's still, so the game is still projecting the beam to the left for gameplay. And when it's doing the visual computation, it's like I said, it's probably cropping it. So like, that's why I can stand here on the left and turn it. Why did it only turn 90 degrees there? That was weird. It's supposed to go to our theta target. It shouldn't go only 90. Okay, this is all goofball. Okay, oh God, here's the problem, folks. So in the old system, we would rotate it immediately. Now, we don't rotate it immediately, which means this stuff that we do here, this stuff, okay, this is visual effects for the magic. That should just happen here. This stuff is things that should happen when the rotation changes, which is now deferred. So these things, these are what cause the light beam to be retraced for gameplay. They are now not happening at the right time. They need to happen when the transaction commits, bro. So, well, let's separate this out. Instead of changed, let's call this success. Well, okay. Whoops. Dress for success. So we're going to do that. And this is the visual effects and audio effects about the magic. And then this has to happen. See how complicated video games get? It's crazy, guys. It's crazy. This has to happen here. Commit transaction. When we do this, all right, we're going to do some stuff down here. If moved a light, oh, is it promised light? Yeah. I should rename that. It's a dumb entity name. It's a dumb entity name. All right, so now, bam. Well, it's still, you can see that the keys on my head, it didn't actually work. Oh, because no. Why didn't that work? Did I not compile? Oh, did I save the other file, by the way? Yeah. Well, fiddlesticks. So it's not doing the retrace. Even when I push it. That's real weird. Okay, let's Control-Alt-Shift-G. It should be the theta target is in the right way. Theta target 180. It's not changing, guys. Say what? 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 It's not changing. The visual angle has changed. The theta target is not changed. Why not? Why not? Why not? It's because of this. It's because it's marked stationary. So sometimes we have stationary turns. Like I don't think we need this here. I think we want that. So stationary just refers to the linear motion right now, not anything else. All right. Hey, hey, hey. It's almost like we're not completely incompetent at programming video games. Just mostly. Okay, that didn't work. I tried to rotate it 180 and that's still an issue for some reason. Like, look where it ended up. I don't know why that happened. Oh, okay. Here's what happened. Remember when I said this wouldn't solve 100% of our problems? The deal is when I rotate it 180, it's trying to rotate so far that the rotate does not complete by the time that transaction time that I set completes. So we can fudge that for now by giving it a longer transaction time, which we might want to do anyway. But we also want to fix that by, actually, no, let's fix the other thing first. We want it to be that if something is not in a transaction, its error correction routine. See, it's kind of at off-kilter angle because the transaction ended before it finished rotating. But if I walk over here, that's where it thinks it's pointing. It's just the visual angle didn't get finished. What if the guy is in two intersecting beams and turns them? Do both move? Yes. And yes, you could make interesting levels out of that. Okay. We're almost done. I mean, with this part. We're almost done with this part. So, when things are not in transactions, what do we do? This, okay? We just snap the position and we'll just say, oh, you know what? Okay, yeah, we'll just say E dot theta current equals E dot theta target. That'll be an angular snap. Which in a final system we shouldn't ever see. So here, if I'm going to slow this down and I'm going to rotate it 180, it'll rotate smoothly for about halfway, and then it'll snap the rest of the way because it didn't have time to finish. Except it didn't frickin' snap. Why not? Oh, because it's not in moving entities? Now I'm offended. I tried to fix this. Hold on. If I push it, will it snap? I would think that it would be in moving entities. Okay, so we're gonna do this. Maybe I just didn't compile. Like what? Come on, guys. Or maybe this doesn't. Maybe moving entities is not a thing anymore for some reason. I don't honestly remember. All right. We're going to need the power of peanut butter M&Ms to give us a little bit more brain juice to solve this problem. Okay. You know what? Let's get a couple more. Get a couple more. The Witness did have crazy complex animations, but it didn't have this grid system. And the movement in The Witness didn't need to be like a tight puzzle transaction thing, so it didn't have this, that's right. And another one. And another one. Okay. So, like, what is going on? I would have thought oh, sorry. I put this inside a check for visual position offset, which obviously was never going to be wrong. Okay? If the theta current does not match the theta target and it's not in a moved transaction, there we go. See, read the code. See, if you want to succeed in the game industry, eat a lot of peanut butter M&Ms, and then you will instantly see the problem that you had not seen. Oh, whoops. We got it. We got to 180 it. There we go. SICK 180. See, before we wanted to take out the SICK 180s, and now we wanted to put the SICK 180s back in. Like, okay. So we'll slow things down, and you'll see that it rotates part way and then snaps. Right? So like, whoa. That, I think it's kind of frame rate dependent, or, oh, okay. This in move transaction is ignoring stationary. So it only gets like one frame of rotation. We're going to do that. Here we go. So we're going to get this. We're going to do SICK, zap, boop. See, yeah, it went most of the way, and then it popped the rest. So now that that works, let's actually increase the transaction time so we have time to frickin' rotate all the way. So we're going to go back here, and we're going to say, let the duration be longer if we are doing a 180, doing a sick, whoops, doing a sick 180. Okay. So we're just going to double the duration. Oops. Dot product. Oh, wait. Okay. We can't do that. These are integer directions. All right. Sick. Sick. All right. We're going to slow it down and zap. Well, I can't tell if that helped. Oh, because we're not, see. Oh, it did. Let's make it really exaggerated. I feel like that test actually isn't working. Like I might have the wrong sign on my dot product or something. No, it did. Okay, we just didn't give it enough time. Give it time. Give it time. Okay, I bet then we're snapping even for 90 right now. Like it's too short. Like, no? Huh. Maybe I didn't compile. I don't know, dude. All right. It's fine because you know what? The thing about all this is this angular interpolation function that we're calling for everybody is interpolating everybody at the same speed, right? So let's go look at that for a second. See this? This move toward, so if you're animation controlled, that's fine. The animation controls your speed. Here, it's just general turning degrees per second is the rate at which all objects in the game rotate right now. We, of course, for things like this, maybe want to say, oh, if you're going to rotate it far, rotate it faster or something, right? We don't have style control over that yet. We'll add it later. And so that's why I'm like not that worried about this right now. It's like, yeah, we'll deal with that, whatever. But you really want to be able to rotate things at different speeds. So yeah, there it's like snapping at the end, at the very end, and it's like, yeah, we'll fix it. We'll fix it. It looks a little weird because the beam is the beam is popping out, but like the beam appears as soon as the transaction completes, I think, which is before it's in the target angle. So yeah. Let's go to draw. So we do this every frame. Oh, if theta current is not equal to theta target. So I don't understand then why I'm seeing the beam for a frame. We see the light beam for an extra frame at the wrong angle for a preliminary frame at the wrong angle. When rotating it with the torque. Oh, you know what? That might have to do with things being a frame off. Like we said, we're like probably grabbing the orientation wrong. Yeah. That no check-in that we did about, are we updating the animation player before or after performing this code? Oh, and it's not just update of e.orientation before or after. I'm pretty sure this is after, but this part is probably happening in the wrong order. Of course, that wouldn't affect a non-animated thing. I don't know. All right, let's remove this hypothetical argument, because even though you think that it's providing information, it's just a chore right now because literally nobody's using it. And so you really would rather have your code be simpler, because that added complexity over time is the mind killer. People tell you it's fear is the mind killer. No, it's added complexity is the mind killer. I think that's all we're going to do for this stream, though. We've made real good progress. Rotations are now in the transaction system. Probably some other things need to go in the transaction system, but so the thing that is now still happening, the next step is to make this thing work when people are on your head, right? We're very close to being able to do this now. It's just break time, but like, whoops. So see how she's still like, insta teleporting? Should not be necessary, because we now have all the ingredients necessary to make that work. It's just because when you're being supported by somebody else, you have a support transaction. Let's see if we can see that. No, I guess we don't draw that. Anyway, there's a support transaction that moves you. And so that support transaction just needs to adjust your angle as the angle of the character under you moves. So that'll be the next step. And then we will finally be able to have large stacks of things, right? And, it'll work. Oh no. All right. Here we go. So we're very close to having that. And that'll be great. That'll be a big party for everybody. After lunch, maybe. I got to do a company meeting, a remote company meeting over video chat at some point, and then, maybe later tonight after that. Would you have stairs? We have ways of moving vertically in the game, yeah. All right, thank you everybody for coming by. Let's see if there is somebody to raid on the Twitch tube. Science and Technology. Who is on the Twitch tube? Oh, wow, so many people. See, that's what coronavirus does. It just means there's so many people in the thing. Is Lana doing programming? What's she doing? She's looking at churches. Okay, well, we'll try to find programming because we just hosted her. Calculus, we could go to calculus. Let me know if there's anything that looks especially appealing. You can go to Stephen Wolfram, ask anything about science. Let's go raid Stephen Wolfram. That'll be entertaining. So I'll see you guys later. I want to do this. I pasted it. No, I'll do it from here. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you all later. He'll try to sell you Mathematica. He might. I don't know.